What is up, guys? Welcome back to a video. We haven't done a video in a minute, and the reason for that is my life completely fell apart for a second, mentally and physically. But that being said, we are back, baby. And there's really no excuses, honestly. I just lost the motivation and I wasn't uploading videos. And the reason for that is because my life really was not in a great spot, to be honest. So last time I took a video, I was out doing summer sales with Vivint, the smart home company. And it was great to begin with, but I just had a lot of horrible things happen to me this last year, and I took a really bad downturn with my health physically. So I had some really personal, tragic stuff happen, which caused a lot of stress. And then I went out and I was out selling, and I was in the heat. I got heat stroke like 3-4 times, heat exhaustion, and I started to get heart palpitations. And then once they started, they never really stopped. And so I started seeing my cardiologist, stopped lifting. I wasn't allowed to lift for like 5 months. I was staying in my apartment, tons of ambulance rides, lots of hospital visits, not really knowing what was going on, freaking out constantly, horrible anxiety. You know, it's pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. And I lost a ton of weight. I used to be 190 something, I was like 195, pretty lean. You know, I'm like down to 182. And you know, I found out that I did have an underlying condition and I can't really work out hard anymore. So, you know, that was such a big part of my life. I was really struggling to cope with that mentally, like, hey, I'll never really be jacked again. So I just do light workouts now, little ones. But you know, I'm starting to get back on my feet. That being said, I'm gonna do a whole video about that later once I kind of rebuild my following and like maybe build it up a bit. So, because I think the message actually helped a lot of people, and I learned a lot through that process about myself that I think would really benefit others. And so I'm gonna make an entire video about that down the road. I don't wanna bore you guys with all that stuff. It's not really boring, but I don't wanna like fill you in. I'm just gonna give you some quick life updates. Quick life update number 1, buying my first house right now as we speak. So life has bounced back very positively. Update number 2, I ordered a Lotus Emira, my kind of entry-level dream car. It's like a baby supercar, right? They're really sick. I'm gonna show you guys the spec on that and like how I ordered it, why I ordered it, why I chose that over a Porsche. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So right now we're gonna go over to the property that I have under contract. I'm gonna show you guys it really quick. I can't go through because I don't have my agent with me. I'm just gonna show you the base of it and explain why it's a good buy and why it's a good investment and why I decided to go with this house and how I was able to get back up. But really quick update on my job. No longer sell for Vivint. I'm actually the sales director at a solar company now. And so that was a huge help to me as well, was moving up into a better position, into a stronger leadership position, and just going out and being able to make even more capital, because I went through a whole downside. But again, we can talk about that in the next video. Next video, I'm just gonna set up a tripod. I'm gonna sit there and explain everything that happened to me over the last year, how I was able to go from somebody who was super confident to somebody who had zero confidence, was staying in my apartment all the time, incredibly depressed, struggling horribly, you know, like on the verge of just complete destruction, to refining myself and bouncing back and being at like 110%. Because like I'm honestly such a more well-developed, well-rounded person now, more so than I ever have been. So I'm very proud of the progress that I've been able to make. It hasn't been easy. It's been quite a journey, and again, we'll cover that in the next video. But as of right now, let's go check out this house and I'll explain why I'm buying this house. We're at the property that I'm gonna buy. So, why am I buying this property? Well, one, it's always better to own than not, right? That's the first thing. If you can get into a house, get into a house, you know? I know there's a lot of real estate, there's a lot of guys on Instagram that are always like, you shouldn't buy, like, the house is a bad investment, blah, blah, blah. I think that's fucking retarded. You know, maybe for other people that makes sense, but for me that makes absolutely zero sense to just keep renting. When I could be building equity. I don't have to be living in a home to buy a house. You can buy it and rent it out, right? First thing, that's the first thing. Second thing is, the reason I'm buying this house, is it my dream home? Absolutely not. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But there's an opportunity here to add more equity to the home, as well as rent the house out for more than a standard home, and I'll explain why. The reason why this makes so much sense is I had a list of priorities when I was gonna buy a house. After this summer, the last summer I did with selling smart homes at Vivint, getting heat stroke and all the heart issues, I realized like, holy shit, I don't know if I can keep doing this. But my rent's over $2,000 a month. my car, I bought a Mercedes that I ended up just giving to my wife recently because I'm buying that new Lotus. I gave her the Mercedes. The monthly payment on that's like $680. Well, actually, I refinanced it. It's down a bit. It's down to the fives. But still, at the time, it was $680. And, you know, it's just not cheap. Life's not cheap. And if my only source of income is sales, what happens when I have a health issue like that? I was stuck. Like, I didn't, you know, luckily I had a bunch of money saved up, but I just burned it through all my savings because I didn't work for 6 months or whatever, 4 months. You know what I mean? It wasn't good. And so I realized, holy shit, I need to stop living and looking like I'm successful and actually be a little bit more mature with my money and start making moves and investing it. And it's been really exciting. So the reason why this is such a good property is it's actually pretty nice. But the reason it's such a good buy is it has a lot of upside potential. So I wanted to get a lot that I could build an additional dwelling unit on, a casita, and then rent the casita out, and that would help cover the mortgage, right? This house already has it done, and it's been really hard to find a home that has it that's in a reasonable price range. I was gonna just buy a house at a lower price range, renovate it, and then build a casita, right? This house is a little more expensive than if I was gonna buy a house to do that, but it's already done, so it saves me the out-of-pocket cost, and I'm able to buy it on an FHA loan. And so I'm only putting, the most expensive thing about buying this house is just back paying my taxes that I didn't pay for 2 years as a salesman. I owe like 16 grand in taxes, but the down payment on the home's only like 12K. So like, if you are in a position to where you can get into a home, especially if you can do it like this, to where you're gonna have the ability to rent out the house for more. And why can I rent the house for more? It's got one casita already. It has an add-on that can be walled off and converted into a second casita, $1,000 per casita, right? And then the main house you could rent for $2,200, maybe even $2,500. So you're looking at over $4,000 of rental income on just this property, and the mortgage on this is probably like $2,600 bucks. You know, you're looking at like $2,800. You pay off that property, now you have over $4,000 a month, as well as rent's only gonna go up in the next 10, 15 years, right? So when the property's paid off, now I have passive $4,000 coming in off of one house, as opposed to, you're not gonna, you know, you're gonna get a lot less if you just have a regular house that's perfect. Plus, as I go and fix this house up and make it nicer, which I'm gonna document for you guys, it's gonna reappraise for a lot more money, right? So people wanna move into the perfect property, especially salesmen. Like, salesmen, we always wanna like show that we're doing so well. And, you know, a lot of times we are doing good, but a lot of times we're overextending ourselves and doing shit that's not actually the right move and the best for our long-term success, you know? A lot of guys are gonna go and buy a house that's all baller and shit, or they're gonna rent a house that looks amazing, and it's like not actually getting them any further along. They're just burning their dollars away. And that's one thing I really freaking hate about sales culture, is it's just like, they want you to blow all your money, because if you blow all your money, then you have to come sell. It's like this fucked up loop where you're just stuck, you know? And so I'm really trying to create financial freedom. My goal is in the next 3 years to never have to knock a door again. Not that I won't, but I never will have to again, because I'm gonna make the right moves financially. I'm gonna document it for you guys to see, and I'm already started. So without any further ado, let's take a look at this house. Grass needs a little bit of love, that's for sure. They didn't spend too much time keeping the grass nice. But another thing too, I hate the frickin' gate, so I'm gonna get rid of this gate. Gonna fix this. House just needs to be pressure washed. You see there's like spider webs, things like that. Honestly, on the inside, there was some paint work that needs to be done, some stucco repair. It's definitely not perfect, but it doesn't have any major issues, and I'm getting it inspected here soon, so. And I don't have my guy with me right now, my real estate agent, but that's just a regular shed back there. There's the casita right there, and then the add-ons around the corner. And look at all this yard space on the side. It's already been concreted, and there's not really any cracks as far as I can see. Too bad in the concrete. It's in pretty good repair, pretty good shape. Fence, probably paint this side of the fence too, honestly. Paint it all white, and probably, I think this house is gonna take a lot of paint, I'm not gonna lie. It needs painting in the back, for sure. It needs painting on the inside. It needs painting on that fence. It needs some fence repairs. Let's see if we can go around the side, actually. I don't think it's fully fenced in, actually. Oh, shoot. It is fully fenced in. If I had my real estate agent, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Kind coming out, but I'm very, very excited. Okay, 1 second. It's kind of perfect, guys. Okay, boom. There we go. Sweet. Okay, we got back here. Oh, looks like somebody's back here. Well, anyways, just quick little tour. Little bedroom right there. Backyard back there for the dogs. Casita here, it actually is plumbed. It's already plumbed with a shower and a toilet. It looks like somebody's staying in that room, so I'm gonna head out. I haven't taken over the property yet, so I don't want them to feel, I think they're not the owner, they'd be a tenant, and so I don't want them to be like, who the fuck is this guy? But anyways, that's the house. I'll show you guys the inside in a later video. I didn't want to intrude too much if there's anybody actually staying in that add-on still, but basically you guys get the idea. It's pretty nice. It's pretty freaking nice. It's got a lot of potential. It's not perfect, like I said. You know, it's definitely not something that you'd be like flexing on Instagram, but that is not what makes you good ROI. So that being said, it meets all of the criteria that I already had, and it's saving me a ton of money because the previous owner actually went and built pretty much everything I was going to build. They built an add-on, they built a casita, they plumbed it. So yeah, the reason why this property is so perfect is I don't have to, okay, would it be better ideally for me to find a cheaper property? This one is, I'm buying for $410,000. Would it be better if I found a property, like I knocked on somebody's door and I said, hey, you know, Mr. Homeowner, would you be open to selling your house? Then lowballing him, getting a property at like well below what it's worth, and then refinancing the property, getting it appraised, refinancing it, pulling the equity out, and then doing what building on it. Like that's how most people go about doing it. Yeah, that probably would be the more perfect way if you wanted to maximize your ROI. But for me, I'm actually really busy helping building this company as the sales director, and I need something that I can get into right away, that I can make a semi-primary residence, you know, while I'm in Utah instead, because I work in California. Something here that I can move into that's relatively turnkey, that is not totally fucked up, that I don't have to like put too much effort in. You know, most of the things that I'm doing on that house are gonna be cosmetic, right? We're talking paint, drywall, things like that. And the interior paint's actually not that bad. In the main living area, it's nice. I mostly need to work on the areas where I'm gonna have tenants. And so it's like I can move right in, start working on those things, and then down the road, once I have 3, 4, 5, 6 of these properties, I can buy the house that I really want, you know? And so it's just a little bit of delayed gratification. And with this one, it's kind of a mixture of like my current predicament and it just being kind of like the perfect house for what I'm looking for, right? And I think most people, I was talking to my real estate agent, and he actually said this, I totally agree with him. Most people never actually get into their first investment property. They just never actually pull the trigger on it because they get really emotional about the purchase. Like, well, this isn't where I want to live. This isn't the neighborhood I want to be in. This isn't this. This isn't that. It's like people are so concerned about like the instant, and also wanting to know, you know, they're wanting to feel like they can show their friends and their family, look how accomplished I am. Look at this crazy house that I just bought. I know a lot of guys that do sales that rent super expensive houses. It's fucking retarded. It's so stupid. Like, you're just pissing your money into the wind that you work really hard for. It doesn't make sense, you know? It's like, if you can just be a little more humble about like what you're doing, you know, if you can just swallow your pride a bit, the investment opportunities are here, and they're not that hard to get into, honestly, if you know what you're doing. It was kind of I'm not gonna lie, getting into your first house, it is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Like, I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely not easy, but it's definitely easier than I thought it would be. You know? Definitely hard, but easier than I thought it would be. And I know that once I get into this one, it's only gonna get easier and easier because now I've done it, right? And by the way, this isn't the first house I had under contract. I had another one under contract, realized it wasn't the right buy, and pulled out. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? The inspection came back, there's plumbing issues. I'm not gonna deal with a house with plumbing issues, like, you know, not right now. Now, if I was buying it well below market value, sure, but I was buying it at market value. You know, why would I pay for a bunch of issues when I can go buy a perfect house if I was just gonna live in it, you know? So that's that. So that's the house. It's actually really, really nice. I like the black on the outside. I like the black and white. I like the fact that there's a casita. I like the add-on. I like the hardwood floors. The inside paint is blue. I like that. It just needs some touch-ups. The garage is gonna be fucking sick, guys, because I'm a car guy. I'm gonna have epoxied floors with the cool lights overhead like you see on Instagram. I gave my wife the Mercedes. I just drive the Jetta now, but I ordered a freaking Lotus Emira, and I'm so excited for this car to come in. And so, that being said, the garage is gonna be pretty baller, because I'm gonna have the Lotus Emira. I'm gonna get a carbon fiber aero kit from it, from Jubu Racing, and it's just gonna look freaking sexy, you know? So, really quick, I'm gonna show you guys what spec I got. In fact, I'm pulling it up on my phone, but I should probably just pull it up on my computer and insert it into the video. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do, because this would be a little bit ghetto. So, I got the Lotus Emira. Here's what it looks like. So I pre-ordered it. So this is the exact spec that I ordered. It's yellow with the black pack and the privacy glass. It's got yellow calipers and blacked out wheels. And I wanted the blacked out wheels because I hate dealing with brake dust. That makes the wheels look so dirty. And my Mercedes has black wheels. When I was younger, I had a BMW, it had silver wheels, and the silver wheels were just always getting gunked up with shit and just looking dirty from dust, from brake dust, from just dirt on the road. And the black on the Mercedes wheels just always looks way better. So I decided to do the black forged wheels. They're pretty sick. And then, of course, I did the sport package because your boy likes to go really fast. And honestly, the sport pack has nothing to do with like the speed of the car. It just has to do with the chassis and the suspension. They just make it stiffer, that's all. But I really actually prefer that. I prefer to have less body roll when I go into a corner really quick. And then this is what the interior looks like that I spec'd out. So this is actually from the website. And then I went down to Lotus in Las Vegas, and we actually built this spec, and then I pre-ordered it. And so it's being built right now. We did the ice gray interior, which is basically white leather. V6 supercharged manual, and then I did an Alcantara steering wheel. So I wanted some Alcantara in there, could kind of be more, you know, reminiscent of like a Ferrari or something, because the Ferraris all have like Alcantara, and so do the Lamborghinis, and it looks really nice. But the Alcantara seats looked a little bit basic, so I went with like the full-on, like, I wanted it to be a very loud, almost like statement piece, you know, because honestly, this car, it looks like a supercar. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful car. And I know there's a lot of people that in this price range would say, why don't you just get a Porsche? But honestly, like, the Porsche is great, but it just doesn't evoke the feelings and the excitement that I got when I drove this. I've driven a Porsche 911, and it was fucking sick. It was great, and it's like so precise, and the engine is amazing, and the launch control is awesome. And this is manual, it doesn't really have launch control. But when I went down and test drove this car in Vegas, it was just, I can't even describe it. Like, it just gives me a certain emotion when I drive it that makes me feel really, really happy. I just had a smile on my face like a little kid the whole time. I love the whine of the supercharger. The throttle responsiveness is great to me. And honestly, the steering, I've never driven a car with better steering. It has hydraulic steering instead of electric. And holy crap, that makes a huge difference. The steering in this car is insane. It is just so precise. It handles bumps incredibly well. I drove basically a very similar car to what I ordered. I just changed a couple things visually, because if I'm gonna spend, you know, over 100 grand on a car, then I want it to be exactly how I want it, you know? And I realize I could wait and maybe buy one down the road, but I really want it to be the first edition, and I want it to be spec'd exactly how I want it, because if I'm spending that much, why not, right? Super excited. It gets done in 5 to 6 months. I know Lotus is actually notorious for actually being behind on their production line because they're a small manufacturer, and that's perfectly okay with me, because that gave me time to start working on my investment property, put my money into this instead. Because definitely before you buy a toy, like a depreciating asset of that nature, you should definitely have some other, you should have your ducks in a row a little bit, because it's definitely not, the Lotus is more of an investment into my happiness, and like, you know, driving that around, maybe more people ask me what I'm do for a living, and then I can like recruit them or whatever. That being, or hire them to come sell with me. But that's not really why I'm buying it. I'm just buying it because I want it, if I'm being honest. Like, I love cars, and that car is just freaking sexy. So, that's the news on that. I'm freaking so excited about it. I can't wait to add it and then start filming it for the channel, showing you guys taking it down to the racetrack, ripping through the canyons. And then what I'm gonna do if we start to build up a bit more of a following is I'll let you guys vote on which mods. I'll throw the modifications up that I'm gonna do to the car, and then you guys can vote on which ones. I'm thinking right now, Jubu Racing front splitter and a swan neck carbon fiber wing. So just the aero kit. I don't think I want to tune the engine, only because like it's actually a pretty quick car. I mean, it's not like crazy fast, but it's pretty quick, and I don't want to do anything that's going to void the engine and transmission warranties, because that's kind of massive. You don't want to fuck that up, and I don't want the car to start having issues. I want to be able to drive it whenever I want to and not run into like a bunch of technical issues. And then the other thing that I really want to do to the car as well is I was thinking about getting an aftermarket exhaust. That would be kind of sick. And I saw the guy at Rev Monkey, I think, over in the UK, he put an exhaust on his Lotus Emira, and holy crap, it sounds so sick. So thinking about doing that as well, and I'm not gonna go into details about that until a later video. That's it for the vlog today, guys. Buying that house, that's why the reason I'm buying the house, all the reasons. Ordered the Lotus Emira, so life's going pretty good. In the next video, I'll get a little bit more personal. I'll set up the tripod, charge up the battery or whatever, and I'll just explain everything that happened to me, all the downs I took, all the L's I took, and how I was able to bounce back from that. Because honestly, I think that is such an important message. I think a lot of you guys should actually hear that, because like there was a point where I'd pretty much given up hope. And so to go from that to where I'm pre-ordering like basically my entry-level dream car and then buying my first investment property, like it wasn't on accident. It took a lot of effort and a lot of work. I didn't get lucky, and I did it myself, you know. I have family and stuff, but it really took a lot. It just took a lot of self-discipline and a lot of faith. But it took a lot of God, honestly. And so I'll talk about that in the next video, how I feel about it, why things actually took a turn up, and how I was able to overcome, you know, what some people struggle with their entire life. And it's something that's been a huge blessing to me. So anyways, I'm gonna head off to the gym again. I won't have that much fitness content on here anymore, just because like I can't really lift that heavy. I'm not that jacked anymore, but I think I can provide a lot more value to you guys through you know, the lessons that I have learned about mental strength, how to be happy, you know, regardless of the circumstances, and finances and sales, because those are the things that I've really got locked down right now. And again, I actually do know a lot about fitness still. It's just that I can't really practice it to the level that I used to. And so even though it's hard for me to let go of it, I still go to the gym, I still work out, I'm still active. I have a good physique, arguably, compared to most people. I still look athletic and muscular, but I'm just not jacked anymore. And you know, that being said, because I know that it's probably not in my cards, I just have to let it go and move on and focus on other parts of life. There's more to life than that. And so I've had to learn balance. And so anyways, that being said, that's the end of the video, guys. I'll go into details on the other stuff in the next video. Hope you're all doing well. I'm gonna start posting regularly, because you know what, like if I don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it for me. So it's time to make this happen, and hopefully along the way I can add enough value to you guys that you guys can maybe buy your first houses. And you know, if you want to try sales, I can help you guys get into sales. And give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you guys in the next video. God bless.